Hi, I'm Nikki from Knots by Nikki Crochet. We will be doing a tutorial for this cute little peep here. The materials we need are as shown: scissors, a crochet hook, safety eyes, darning needle, safety nose, this is optional but cute, stitch marker, polyfill, and yarn of your choosing. Whatever yarn you're using, use the appropriate size crochet hook. To begin, we're going to start with a magic circle. I do a double, you don't have to. And we're going to place 5 single crochets into the magic circle. And then tighten your magic circle. Round 2 is an increase in each stitch for a total of 5 increases, giving you 10 stitches at the end of the row. Pause here. Rounds 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are single crochet in each stitch, which is 10 stitches. So do 5 rows of 10 stitches and we'll meet back. So for your first ear, after you finish your last single crochet, you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch and then fasten off. We're creating 2 ears, so this is the first ear that you're making. You're going to slip stitch, fasten off, leave about a 6-inch tail so you can sew the ears shut after we crochet them together. So cut your yarn, pull it through to create a knot, and then create a second ear all the way up through the 5 rows of single crochets. Do not slip stitch and do not cut your yarn, and I'll meet you back. Okay, now that we have both ears, we're going to attach them together with the single crochet. So stick your hook into any of the stitches, it doesn't matter which one. You're going to stick your hook through and then do a normal single crochet. I always stick my stitch marker in this just so I know where I've started. Totally optional. Now that you have 1 single crochet, we're going to do 8 more single crochets on this ear. And you are just going to single crochet around your slip stitch and your tail like it's not there. Once you've completed your 9 stitches for that ear, you're going to skip a stitch on the second ear and crochet into the second and do 9 single crochets around that ear as well. So at the end of this row, you should have 18 stitches. I prefer my stitch marker being in the last stitch of the round, so I am moving it here. You can leave it in the first without it being an issue as well. Okay, we are about to start the head. I just wanted to note, so the increases and decreases for both the head and the body need to be at the very side. So when you fold everything flat, this will be where you're working your increases and your decreases just to keep the shape of it correct. So depending on your tension and things like that, you might have to adjust a little bit, which is not a big deal. You can move them a stitch or two and it doesn't make much of a difference. Round 9 is the first of our head, so we're going to start with 4 single crochet. And then you'll do an increase. And then 8 single crochet. And then you'll insert another increase. and then you will do 4 single crochet. So that will give you a total of 20 stitches for round 9. Now we're going to sew our ears together to get rid of that gap. So your long tail that you left, you're going to thread that through your darning needle and simply, I hold my ears together, and this right here is the gap we're sewing. So we're just going to go around a few times, and then we're going to check to make sure everything is fully sewn. Okay, so to check, you just flip it over and pull it apart. I think I'm going to sew right there, right here, just to make that a little bit better. Let's see. Perfect. Okay. And then I just take one of the tails from the start of one of the ears and tie it in a knot. And then I just stuff that down into the ear. At this point, I'm also going to stuff the ears just a little bit. You don't want these to be super packed if you're using fluffy yarn. You want them to be like squishy. So just take a little bit of polyfill, and it goes. So it needs a little bit more. And there we go. Rows 10, 11, and 12 are to single crochet in each stitch around, which should give you 20 stitches. So I'll meet back with you after we complete these 3 rows. Round 13 begins with 5 single crochet, next is a decrease. I use the front loop only decrease because I think it looks a little bit better with Amy. And then 8 single crochet. Another decrease, and then 3 single crochet. Okay, so after row 13, we're going to place the eyes. So the eyes are going to go between row 11 and 12. So 13, 12, 11. So they're going here. They need to be 5 stitches apart. So what I like to do is I just look at the ears and I shoot for the middle of the ear in that row. I'm thinking here. And then there's going to be 3 visible stitches between them. So 1, 2, 3. So my next eye will go here. Then we just take a look. I think that looks good. So we are going to pop our backs on. And here's the second one. And then we have it. I also am going to place the nose. So the nose goes in between the eyes and down 1 row. So in this middle stitch and then down a row. Oh, I stuck it on upside down. There is our nose. Here is the back. Of course, it's a little crooked. So there we have it. And now we will continue with row 14. Actually, instead of doing row 14, I'm going to stuff this head just a little bit more. So I'm taking very small pieces of polyfill just to fill out the bottom of the ears, like so. And then just a small little amount, because we don't want to have to crochet and deal with the polyfill, so we're just gonna. And there's our head. So now we are for real onto row 14. Row 14 begins with 5 single crochets, decrease, 7 single crochets, decrease, and then 2 more single crochets, giving you a total of 16 stitches for round 14. Round 15 starts with 4 single crochets, 2 increases, six single crochet, two more increases, and ends with 2 single crochet, giving you a total of 20 stitches for this round. Round 16 starts with 6 single crochet, an increase, 9 single crochet, an increase, and then ends with 3 single crochet, giving you a total of 22 stitches for this round. Okay, rows 17, 18, 19, and 20 are all the same. It is 22 single crochet, so single crocheting around. Pause here and meet me for row 21. Okay, starting with row 21, I just wanted to bring up again, your decreases are going to be at the very sides. So you just want to fold your work in half and make sure your decreases are in your side stitches. If not, just add a single crochet before or after just to keep it so that it gets the right shape. Okay, row 21 starts with 5 single crochet. Two decreases, seven single crochet, two decreases, and then 2 single crochet, leaving you 18 stitches for this row. Row 22 starts with 6 single crochet, a decrease, seven single crochet, a decrease, and then 1 single crochet. This should leave you with 16 stitches for this row. At this point, we are stuffing the rest of our peep. I don't think I need that much. Right before row 23, which is our final row. So we'll add a little bit more. Okay, so I think that's good. It's squishy, but still soft. Okay, row 23 is our final row. It is simply 8 decreases. Okay, and then we want a long enough tail to sew it closed. And then we are going to pull our hook through. Take our yarn tail and our darning needle and feed it through. And you're going to go through the front loop of all 8 stitches. And there we have it. And then I am just going to feed this through here a few times to finish it off. So I like to go along with the stitches, like there's a loop there. Pull that through. You just want to make sure you're not pulling too tight. And then let's see, we'll go through this way. You just want to go back and forth a few times just to secure your ends. At least 3. Sometimes I do more. Some people also tie knots, but I find that this method works really well, and you don't get the bulkiness you would get from a knot. Okay, so I'm going to feed it through one last time. I'm going to feed it through to about here, and I'm just going to pull this through the needle some more, and I'm going to trim this string so that it will not show through. Okay, so it's still on the needle, it's just very, very short now, and we're just going to feed this up and pop out somewhere. Rock it back and forth a few times to get that yarn off. Oh, well, that didn't mark. It's all right. We'll just pull that back through there. And here's your finished marshmallow bunny. Thanks for watching. There is a pattern on Ravelry. The link is in the description.